ideas, and we'll allow that to a certain extent. Number one, is the universe fine-tuned for life? Now, I know you haven't studied this. You might have some ideas. You may have studied something about it. Just think about that. If it is true, does that mean there was a fine-tuner? How could you get fine-tuning without a fine-tuner? What are other explanations for the facts? Finally, could this have happened by random chance? Those are the 4 questions that I have put together for you. And I'm dismissing the panel of scientists because I don't want them talking about it. So I want you to talk about it. So let's get started. Who wants to make a comment? Yes, sir.
First point, is the universe fine-tuned for life? About a year ago, I read a book by a woman named Elizabeth Colbert called The Sixth Extinction. She went through
what's the name again?
the Sixth Extinction.
Okay. Right. Honey, could you write that down? 6.
There were 5 extinctions before we're going through an extinction again. If the universe is fine-tuned for life, I would ask the scientists, and I don't pretend to be nearly as smart as they are, why it is that certain species over this period on Earth have gone extinct. If it's fine-tuned for life, why is it now that amphibians in South America are dying by the thousands? It's their time. We've got obviously we've got primates that are dying. We're primates.
Yes.
If it's fine-tuned for life, that's the question I would ask, is the universe fine-tuned for life? And then another example would be these whales they discovered are sharks just the other day. Some of them are living for 700 years. I don't know if anybody else read that article.
Yes.
In the Arctic. It's just absolutely blows me mind that a shark could live for 700 years.
Yeah, mine too.
And then the other thing I would bring up is the uniform fine-tuned for life. If it is, why are we the only planet that we know of where life is existing? If it is fine-tuned, why doesn't it exist somewhere else? Those are the 2 comments.
Okay, those are all very good questions and comments. I'd like for you to help me through them because I will answer the way I understand it. Okay? You made mention of the fact that basically, I guess what you're saying was the Earth or the universe is not fine-tuned for life because you have extinctions. That shows that some animals, some plants, something could not make it.
It's gone through 5 different extinctions.
Right.
I mean, not just the dinosaurs,
I
but
understand.
the oceans completely almost got wiped out.
Okay, I'm not arguing. I'm not capable
Yeah.
or competent to argue that point with you. I don't know.
Right.
So it's interesting. I'll read the book because I think it's a very interesting idea. Now, these points that I made about gravity and electromagnetic force and the nuclear forces and all these things isn't trying to say that the universe is perfect. Okay? It's very simple. It is just saying that if you take any of those constants and vary them a very minor amount, you won't have life. That's not, your point is saying, well, I wasn't saying the universe is perfect. I'm not saying the universe and the earth is perfect. I wouldn't say that. No, I know that's not true. People have said too many times, if the earth is what was perfect, why do we die? If the earth was perfect, why would it be extinct? Same question. But then the other side, you say sharks live for 700 years.
Right. You live for 70, 80, 90.
Yeah. Like I said, it's an interesting idea, and your points are well made in that regard, but it's not really related to this specifically. This is just saying that if these were off, there wouldn't be any life anywhere. That's what I'm saying. Extinction wouldn't come about because wouldn't you anything be extinct? But what else did you say?
Last point was, why are we the only place where it's been fine-tuned for life? Why haven't we discovered it anywhere else? The universe is massive. Where is life?
Okay, the assumption that you would make in that statement would be that because on the earth, life, I'm going to stretch my neck out here, life came about, okay, and life evolved to where human beings are what we are based on natural selection and beneficial mutation and all the things evolutionary theory says, which you probably know. I'm not someone who believes in evolutionary theory. But that is the assumption you're making, because if evolution occurred here, then, and if the universe was perfect for life or fine-tuned for life, why wouldn't it happen in other places? And I would say, I don't know what's happened in other places, number one. Number two, I don't subscribe to the idea of the evolution, how we came about. So therefore, that question isn't something that I would agree with on its premise. That's what I'm saying. But I understand, from that premise, it's a good question, yes. And you have one more.
No, that was it. I just said the four forces are working on the other planets in the universe, the other.
Well, you would, science says that, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yes, Bill?
Well, I brought a notepad this time, so I have a long list of topics and
I'll give you
answers,
two topics right now, you can come back later with another one, okay?
But I'll start with your last question.
Okay?
Could this have happened by random chance?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
And there's no reason, there's no evidence that it could not have.
If you can reason that in your mind, it's okay.
And you know why? Because when you roll the dice an infinite number of times, random chance allows for a great many things. And we have no way of knowing how many times in the supra-universe, shall we say, the dice have been rolled and those universes failed to develop.
So it's a
They started to
multiverse
develop,
idea.
but life failed to develop,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
But, you know, if there is a God or some creative force, nothing like the Christian God, but just some
Mhm.
supernatural thing, well, when did that God begin, you know, to exist? We assume infinitely long into the past. So was this God, this force, sitting on its hands all that time? Or were the multi-universes popping up and disappearing, popping up and failing, popping up and failing all along? And eventually, you roll it long enough, one's going to come up.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Let me explain.
You're saying so many things, I can't remember what you said, Bill. If you want to repeat them one at a time, I'll answer them one at a time. I'll be glad to listen to what you say.
Let me give an example of the odds of random chance. My existence, by talking about random chance, even by Christian belief of creation in Adam and Eve and all of that stuff, what are the odds that I would exist? First of all, what are the odds that the specific sperm and egg of my parents would have met? What is the possibility that they even met each other of all the people on earth? And then multiply that by each of their parents that they even met, and their parents that they ever even met and had a chance to conceive a child. And you go back generations after generations for thousands of years, go back in time and say, okay, 5,000 years from now, what's the chance that this guy, Bill, is going to exist in a science class, science and God class, you know, that I'm going to exist? You would say, well, it's preposterous to say that the odds that he would come to exist. But the fact is, I have existed, and I do exist, and the same thing can apply to the universe and these fine-tuning numbers that you talk about, because there's an infinite number of times that the dice could have been rolled. And lo and behold, eventually one comes up.
I got your point.
Well, I got you a lot of your points, and you still go on for half an hour, so let me finish.
Hey, Bill, I told you, you want to put together a presentation, you come up and do it, okay? The floor is open to you with a presentation. Okay, now let me answer the question. When you say what the odds that you would exist after all this sperm and so forth, first of all, you're talking about a process that we know about. Are there 7 billion people in the world? What are the odds of any of them being there? 1 in 7 billion. All right, so you got 7 billion times 7 billion is 1 in 1 that you exist. Listen to me carefully. You're talking about popping up universes. You don't have any basis for that at all. There's no, whatever. If the universe popped up here, the universe popped up from what, Bill?
I'm saying it
Use
could
logic,
have.
reason here.
I can say it could have just as easily as you can say it could not have. You have no way of knowing.
But you have no basis for that. I have a basis for why Bill's here, because
What basis do you have to deny it? I have the example of here one did happen.
Yeah, and 7 million
Now you're trying to
other,
argue that none others have.
7 million other unique people